Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to a new TEW2020 video. You join us today for AEW Full Gear, the first show that is going to be on AEW pay-per-view. So I want to see how we can do in terms of that financially and if we get more viewers that way. I might sound a little bit off, a little bit of a flu bug at the moment in time, but the show must go on and I'm just really wanting to book to the end of 2025 because we have a big storyline planned for 2026 in this save and all the pieces are starting to come together. You can see 9 matches are already pre-booked. I just done a wee bit of pre-booking, had to plan out a tournament that's going ahead. We'll obviously talk about that as Full Gear goes on because there's a few things that obviously lead to the future. But you can see tonight we've got Hangman and Kenny versus Adam Cole and Jay White. We've got the Fatal 4-Way match for the Women's Championship. From the Carnage brand we've got Cody Rhodes and his teammate Danhausen taking on Logan Paul and the A-lister Matty Wahlberg. Hikaru Takahashi takes on Prince Devitt for the 0x Championship. Moxley and Walter in the steel cage as we mentioned. Ricochet versus Ricky Starks for the Carnage, the Evolve Championship of the Carnage brand. Young Bucks versus the Kings of the Black Throne. Tyler Black versus MJF. And for the TNT Championship, Wardlow versus Daniel Garcia. So last year we were at an 86 here. We had 64,000 in attendance. If we just quickly flick through them. And 97 the year before. And 94 the year before that. And our first show was a 76 because we still really were getting used to the mod, and yeah, we obviously have to get people over before we get these massive results. Just looking there, I saw CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I really need to find something to do for Hobbs. So let's do the main events. We had Kenny defeat Hangman, which was a 75 in 2021. In 2022 the main event was Hangman defeating CM Punk in 87. In 2023 it was Sammy Guevara defeating Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley and Darby Allin to retain the championship, which was in 88. And in 2024, the main event was the Fatal 4-Way match, for the Mixed Tag Team Championships as Tyler Black and Becky Quin defeated Sammy Guevara and Britt Baker, Red Velvet and Cody Rhodes, and Andrade El Idolo and Charlotte. And that just says a lot about the relationship statuses in the game since Andrade and Charlotte have split. Sammy and Britt obviously are a nightmare in this because Britt split with Adam Cole. Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet are obviously in different brands, and yeah, the only one that's still going strong is Tyler Black and Becky Quin. I also did laugh, it was like Full Gear 2022 was CM Punk v Hangman. I somehow doubt that match is going to happen at the time of recording when we actually get to Full Gear. Which I think should have happened by the time this goes live, so I can't wait for none of this to happen because let's be honest, half of them aren't on the roster. But this is our roster. It's looking forward to being a blockbuster show. I'm really happy with what I've got planned, just hope it delivers. And I say it's a lot of build up for the event in December, the second event in December, and a wee hint towards our 2026 storyline. So sit back, relax, enjoy. This is Full Gear 2025. So we're in front of 77,884 in the Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, live on pay-per-view. So the industry is continuing to get bigger and bigger and starting to thrive a little, so we should see attendances make their way up because we are a company that's affected by the wrestling industry and the economy. So opted to start the show, ironically, with CM Punk. And he was saying, it's a crying shame, that I'm just being constantly overlooked for all these younger talents. I can still go at this highest level, and it's an absolute shambles that I'm not on this card. There's many of these youngsters that just aren't quite ready to be at my level, and there's not one of them that would step up and even challenge me to a match up. This results in Darby Allin coming out, and Darby Allin says, "Hell dude, I was the first man that stepped up when you joined AEW. It says I have no problem kicking your ass and showing that, this younger generation is ready to take over AEW and make a stand. We've had the same faces up at the top of the division for a long time. It's time for us to take over." CM Punk says, "You know what? I don't actually expect anyone to turn up. I'm not having this fight tonight. I'm going to get my stuff together and I'm just going to leave." So a 96 for Darby Allin and CM Punk there. There's more to this later on as we progress through the show. I started off with About the Had superb wrestling and great heat, and I had Will Ospreay defeat Sami Zayn in 1815 with a Stormbreaker. Just felt this would be a good match for two people on the Dynamite brand. Kind of hope they could have done a little bit better than the 81, but it continues good momentum for Ospreay, as there'll be a wee bit of a character arc soon for Sami Zayn. We have a promo with Miro, who brings us an 87, and he just says, for too long, Miro has been held back. It is time for him to step forward and claim a championship. There's 5 very good, strong competitors in this matchup for the Lucha Underground Championship, but no one comes close to Miro. Miro will make sure that he enters 2026 with either a championship in his hands, and if he's not successful tonight because of someone else's fault, then he will make sure in 2026 he'll be all guns blazing. So fatal 5-way for the Lucha Underground Championship, and it was about to have some superb wrestling and good heat, as a Jungle Boy defeat Miro, Pac, Kyle O'Reilly and Bandido in 13-14 when Jungle Boy pinned Bandido by Canadian Destroyer, meaning your new Lucha Underground champion is Jungle Boy. Only a 79, and that's 5 very, very good performances. Jungle Boy's capped with popularity, but I feel like he's someone we can really, really push on and have some good matches with. He'll still bring the in-ring performance, it's just whether we can get the segments to match that. So a bit disappointed. Is there any reason why this was so poor? A few negatives there, but nothing too bad. But overall, happy with that. New Lucha Underground champion, Jungle Boy. We then had a matchup for the AEW Tag Team Championships in the women's division, and from Carnage, it was the team of Starlight Kid and Toni Storm. It was a good matchup here. It saw Britt Baker and Anna Jay defeat Starlight Kid and Toni Storm in 12-27 when Anna Jay pinned Starlight Kid with a scissors kick, giving them their second defence of the Women's World Tag Titles. Interestingly, this is actually the first time I'd put these two Carnage athletes together, but great to see they have excellent chemistry. Really delighted with that one, but the mega push at the moment is firmly on Anna Jay. She gets 77 psychology if I just get that up a wee bit. Some other stats a wee bit higher. She is with the Performance Centre as well, the NXT, the AEW Performance Centre, the Nightmare Factory Performance Centre that we have, so she can keep improving. She could be a cornerstone of our women's division going forward. But 82, fantastic stuff, and it was just a regular match, and for some reason I had Britt Baker to lose, but the main thing is Anna Jay won. That's all we need to know. So Punk wouldn't fight Darby, but then Darby finds him, takes a referee, and we have a cinematic backstage brawl, a backwoods brawl as they call it, and I had fantastic heat and great wrestling, and Darby manages to defeat CM Punk in 9:41 with a very dangerous coffin drop and then a pinfall. 85, you can see here Punk off his game only brings a 68, Darby brings a 93, and the production values added to the cinematic match. So interestingly enough, CM Punk did not want to put Darby over, and I got the little note where it was like Darby Allin was crackling his knuckles, so CM Punk's bricked it for Darby Allin. Remember that. But yeah, it's a case of Punk is massive over this. He's wrestling once in every event he can use him in terms of wrestling, and I just feel like it's time to start putting these younger guys really over and change our main event scene. Even if they're pop capped, we can still utilise them. So 85, Darby Allin picks up the win. We then had a matchup for the AEW Tag Team Championships, and it was about to have great wrestling and good heat as the Young Bucks defeated the Kings of the Black Throne in 13:41 when Matt Jackson pinned Brody King with a Meltzer driver, meaning your new tag team champions, the Young Bucks. Only a 78 here. It might have been a clash of styles possibly, or the fact it made it Wild Brawl, because there is other Steal the Show matches, but you've got kind of, I wouldn't say they are high flyers, but they do a lot of technical stuff as well. But I would put Malachi and Brody as more as kind of like brawlers. But you can see here, there's a few hints at turns here. There's a lot of people benefiting from new moves. There's tag team specialists. It's still good, but for the arc of the storyline, the belt's gone in the box, and well, there's two storylines that will be unfolding as time goes on. Well, that's a bit gutting. I thought these two would mesh well, but anyway, still a good rating, 82. Good matchup as Hikaru Takahashi defeats Prince Devitt in 14-19 with a Fisherman Suplex, and it gives him the 5th defence of the AEW 0X Championship. So, shame they didn't click, but as I say, a 79-71 still gets us an 82 segment. If I can get the person I'm hoping to get in it could lead to some very interesting matches with both athletes. We just need to make sure we can outbid other companies for them. But the roster's nearly complete. So this segment, as I've said in previous videos, we have obviously the generated wrestler who we've called Veronica. She has fantastic psychology, charisma, etc. The wrestler skills are very, very basic. The plan was she's going to debut. She's going to be in every segment alongside The Rock, as we try and restore The Rock's overness as well. I think it's like mid-70s at the moment. We want The Rock back up to the main thing. But utilise this one with Jericho, Austin, Dwayne and Veronica, because they're basically... Jericho's an authority figure, he's also commentating, and Austin and Dwayne are obviously helping out, and Veronica's just kind of like, Dwayne, give me your star power. What they're basically announcing in this segment is they have confirmed that the pay-per-view for December, which normally would have been our draft show, but obviously we've done a draft earlier on, a few movers here and there, is going to be AEW Crown and Glory. I've probably stole that name from somewhere, but it just made sense for what I want to do. Usually Full Gear is when we culminate the end of the Brody Lee Memorial Tag Team Cup, and also is the end of the Trios tournament. I had so many storylines going, that didn't fit. However, Crown and Glory, crowning winners of tournaments, makes perfect sense. So they basically announced is that the finals, or the semi-finals and the finals of the Brody Lee Memorial Tag Team Cup will take place at that event, and we'll also see the final of the Trios tournament. Of course, that will mean we'll have new number one contenders from this to challenge for the Trios championships, unless obviously the champs win the tournament, and the same goes with the tag division. If the Young Bucks win it, these are the very opponents. If the Young Bucks lose it, then we'll have number one contenders to challenge them for the belts. But overall, really happy with that. So Crown and Glory will come the first week of November. The way your events will be structured in terms of videos will be our Impact Wrestling event, which I believe is Final Resolution. Let's check my notepad. Final Resolution will be our next video. The same weekend in game is going to be Crown and Glory. So it's like kind of WWE done NXT, WWE kind of thing. So that'll be the following week, and then the week after that we'll move on to the end of the year, with winter is coming. Then we'll have the Power 500, etc. So that's what we're announcing, and we utilise this segment to do that, and hopefully boost Veronica's overness. Match for the Carnage brand's main belt, which is of course the AEW Evolve Championship. We obviously need to gain it some prestige, and it was about to have some great wrestling and good heat, as Absolute Ricky Starks defeats Ricochet in 14:04 by using underhanded tactics. Second defence for Ricky Starks. I was a bit unsure if these two styles would clash. No pun intended, AJ. But overall, just giving Ricky some good victories, because let's be honest, it's our NXT that that I've got in the main roster. Impact's pretty much NXT 2.0, technically. It's like further development. So basically, Starks won't win this brand very long, is the point I'm making. Give an idea of the structure. I have the TDF, the Development Factory, or the Dark Factory. Once they're too big for that, they go to Impact. Once they're too big for Impact, they then go to Carnage. And then once they go to Carnage, they'll then go to the other two brands as well. But we'll move some experience heads to this brands as well, because Cody can't carry it on his own. Then see a little vignette backstage, and basically, obviously we saw earlier on that Sami Zayn lost to Will Ospreay. And he's kind of confronted by his friend Kevin Steen. Both of them are babyface, and Kevin just says, "Think about it, man. You lost tonight against Ospreay, great effort, but losing again, coming up short. Lost recently in that triple threat match against Walter and Darby Allin on Impact, or not on Impact, on Dynamite. I've not been booked for a while since I lost that matchup against Jon Moxley. Something around here has to change, and I think I've got a plan." So the cameras pan away, but what are these two thinking? What is Kevin Steen's idea? 67. Next up, exceptional matchup is MJF defeated Tyler Black in 18:10 with a handful of the tights. 84 here, I'm pretty happy with that one. Obviously, MJF will have to protect and give as much victories as possible. It's an 80 psychology via 79, so we do need a wee bit more points in that department, so there's going to be a definitive lack of that there. Did I make this steal the show? Not just regular, so I feel like if they could get the psychology, there's no reason why these two guys can't bring a 90 or 80 performance, but MJF gets the win, and we'll see where he goes from here. Then a little package. We obviously saw earlier on what happened between Sami Zayn and Kevin Steen. It's a wee bit similar to what we've got here with Malachi Black and Brody King. And Malachi just says, it was a great run with the Tag Team Championships, but I'm going to withdraw our interest in this Tag Team tournament. I've got a plan, and I need to do this alone. So that is a 68 segment there. A lot of stuff will make sense longer term. Next up, we had a good matchup as Daniel Garcia defeated Wardlow in 12:45 by pinfall. It was meant to be a submission one, was it not? No, it was actually a pinfall because Wardlow wouldn't tap. After Bryan Danielson interfered, this means that Daniel Garcia wins the AEW TNT Championship. So disappointingly, just a 71. Again, psychology being a bit of an impact on a lot of the younger guys on the roster. Maybe when they blessed with that great start. But then again, we always complain in real life for lack of psychology and stories told and matches. But the story here we're telling, Danielson couldn't beat Wardlow. His protege Garcia does, becomes the TNT champion, and Wardlow, you'll just look to see if we can do something else with and give him maybe another storyline. And after a wee celebration between Danielson and his protege Daniel Garcia, 84 for the new TNT champion. Moving along, we had a tag team matchup, and about that had superb wrestling and great heat, as Adam Cole and Jay White defeated Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega in 2042 when Jay White pinned Kenny Omega with the Blade Runner. Lots of injury stuff now to talk about, so 80, disappointing injury, would have done a lot of that as well. Adam Cole sustained bruised ribs, broken ribs even, that's even worse. Kenny brings a 97. You see at the bottom, Kenny Omega gritted his teeth and worked through the injury without it affecting the matchup. So, I don't like letting workers work through injuries, but it kind of adds to the story here. I gave Kenny a random match on Dynamite with this injury against Ace Austin. Nothing special about it, it's a regular match. I think it went 12 minutes. Kenny and Ace Austin brought a 97. And I thought to myself, what if I'd really pushed Ace Austin and what if I had Kenny at 100%? That could be a very viable contender for a 100 rated matchup, so it's something you see down the line. But you can see here, Kenny's hinting at a heel turn. But yeah, great stuff. As I said, injuries is a shame. Hopefully Adam Cole's not out for too long, because the storyline might be able to get carried. But yeah, not ideal. Broken ribs in the matchup. And ironically, it was Kenny Omega who done it because of his injury. So there you go. Snowball effect. Okay, Danhausen's in one of the best segments of the day. So on Carnage, I do like to have a little bit of fun and a bit of stupidity on it, but at the same time, we're booking my future talents. And obviously, Cody's carrying the brand. So Cody is having a bit of an issue with the celebrity Logan Paul. Again, someone has started using, so I saw WWE were using him. Is it okay? So it's like Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul is the big thing. However, Cody Rhodes was being attacked by Matty Wahlberg, former teammates in the Supreme Collective. However, and the former Matty Wahlberg sees himself as an A-lister, sees himself as a big deal, and that's why I thought, him and Logan Paul could work together. Makes sense. Logan Paul had issues with Danhausen. Danhausen was trying to curse him. So Dan's like, I'll come and help you, Cody. And that is an 87 rated segment with Danhausen underwhelming. But maybe we can get Danhausen over in this feud. We then get over the top elaborate entrance by we could say the money team here, the A-lister team, if you were the Miz. So 69, Logan Paul's performance was fantastic. And the match itself, I think that's pretty decent, all things considered. Good heat, decent wrestling, and Logan Paul picks up the win by making Danhausen tap out in 12:39. So in here, Logan's getting more matches, which is going to help his overall development skill set. Matty Wahlberg gets a bit of overness. Cody can take defeats and take wins every so often, and Danhausen is in a position where he can take the L and not be affected too much. But overall, happy with that, and a 79. Saraya's going to do some colour commentary for your co-main event of the evening, as she will watch the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Championship. She's going to run a forum and potentially could be a challenger in the future. And about that had superb wrestling and great heat, and surpassed my expectations because that might be my best ever women's matchup, but it's just been the women, no mixed tags. as Mercedes Varnado defeated Becky, Quin, Charlotte and Baylee Rose in 1951 when Mercedes submitted Charlotte with a bank statement. This gave Mercedes the 7th defence of the AEW Women's Championship. Every one of them brought it in that 90 rated match up there. Only Charlotte because of her lack of overness with an 80, but her focus has more been helping the development of her protege in game, Julia Hart, and of course her tag partner, a person she's with in the form of Camille. But the fact that these 4 ladies brought a 90, exceptional. But I need to obviously start bringing the AEW ladies into contention rather than go. But I just want to get that match done. As I say, Becky and Charlotte are closing in at 40. Baylee won't be far off. Mercedes get a wee bit younger on them, so it's yet a few years yet, but eventually you'll start to see, that's why we're working on Anna Jay. Obviously I've got Alexa Cabrera, but the likes of Toni Storm, Starlight Kid, we're going to have Yuka Sakazaki's getting a mega push as well, so the ladies will come into contention. Chris when she comes back from injury, and of course we'll get Jamie Hayter in a decent position as well. Main event time. Can they deliver inside the steel cage? Will that affect their rating? Because maybe I forgot, maybe the fans don't like steel cages. I think they could have maybe scored a 100 if that wasn't in a cage. But anyway, about that had sensational wrestling and fantastic heat. Walter has defeated Jon Moxley in a cage match in 26-12. It could be a time limit thing as well, as Walter escaped the cage. Your new AEW World Champion, the Austrian Ring General, Walter. 87, both men with a 95 rated performance. Let's look at the dirt sheet. What cost is? Nothing, so maybe just a bad roll, but I think maybe length, cage match possibly as well. But yeah, I just felt like the form Walter's been in, he's got the psychology, he can main event against anybody, and I don't need to worry about the segment rating. I don't need to worry about the psychology because he can carry it. So I feel like if I get it on him, I can even put lesser people in the main event and he'll still drag them into a great matchup. And Moxley, well, first off, Walter celebrates 83. Crowd gives him his celebration because obviously he's out the ring, but someone enters the cage and attacks Jon Moxley, and that man was Malachi Black. Moxley staggers to his feet and then Malachi just turns around and whacks him with that devastating kick and takes Moxley clean out. So 78, we establish a feud between Jon Moxley and Malachi Black. We take Moxley out the title picture. So yeah, a lot of stuff here will tie in with Crown and Glory, so it might be worth watching this before Crown and Glory if you are getting back to it, taking me notes or whatever. But really happy with it. I think I probably will get maybe a 94 overall. 95, increase their popularity in 2 regions, but as much as it wasn't great for the 100 rating, there's a lot of storyline stuff here. So we have probably 3 or 4 storylines that are really going to kick on in the next upcoming months, because I do realise, as much as I keep aiming for 100 matches, the 100 rated matches, Kenny Omega's not going to last forever. Walter won't last forever. We do need to look at the future as well. So we'll have a wee look in a jiffy after I let it load of how bad Cole's injury is. Let's check it out. So the show itself was an incredible show. It was an absolute success, which is ideal there. Adam Cole can work through the injuries, but I'm hoping, I don't think I actually need him until winter is coming, so we should be okay there. Juice Robinson back 100% from his injury. A few graduates being signed, as you can see there. Ring of Honor have signed this graduate, this new gen. New Japan Pro Wrestling worker Rush has made a series of controversial claims that he is the MVP of the company. His contract with New Japan's up in 8 months. Will make a very aggressive deal to sign him. WWE contract for Taylor Lashley. I'm not going to worry about their generated guys. I'll let them see how the AI develop them, basically. That's just a lot of the kind of people. Same again with Ashley Helms. I think she is actually really highly rated. 75 press goose, 75 technical, 72 technical, sorry, 88 sex appeal, 83 star quality. So I'm going to let WWE, as I say, see how they bring through generated stars and see if they can make a mega star, because if it comes to worst, we can poach them. Re-signing of Casey Catanzaro, that's just to put her back to Impact. She basically left Impact, and I'm like, I could use you, so I'll just sign you AEW and put you back. Should be signing Takeshita on a permanent deal, took away his loyalty to DDT. It's like, I can't keep loaning him, it's boring. Just like who I want on my roster. And then Timothy Thatcher will continue on Carnage. So here, Sally Bailey has a 1 month left in the developmental contract. That is a generated wrestler who came through the WWE Performance Center, and because they had some good potential, we looked to sign them. You can see they're having theirs mid-40s. At 22, I think there's a good room for improvement. Who else have we got? So Dwayne says that Starlight Kid's turning out a good worker. Ricky Starks says that Tony has good charisma. Malachi Black says that Jungle Boy's pretty good in the ring. The viewing figures was just 3.9 million, and the buy rate was a 7.89. And the Full Gear importance is now above average. So, a few things I want to check is pay-per-view. 15 million, so still good money. Obviously, broadcast revenue would make probably a lot more than that. I think it over with 2 shows, but that's the concern. Basically, is obviously I'm not going to lose out money, but I just wanted to try that. So the 2 things I want to check with you being here is the medical. So Cole's out for 14 days, Andrade has 8 days, Io Shirai 11, and Kenny 3. So they'll be back in 2 weeks. That's fine. So everybody will be back after Crown and Glory, basically. In fact, Cole's the one that missed Crown and Glory. Statlander's another 3 months to 3 weeks. So my top 100, what I wanted to check was how that compares to other shows. So Full Gear, just to clarify by the way, was the 15th best show with the save. You can see that Kenny Ace Austin match went in at number 5. So Kenny is in the top 6 matches in AEW history. 399s, can't believe it. And they've all came this year. Top attendances, I think we said 77,000, so Full Gear comes in at number 11. Buy rates, obviously, it's the first pay-per-view we've had in a while, because everything else has been on the AEW network, so that's 7.89. TV ratings, obviously, it's not going to be anywhere on that, because we're constantly hitting massive numbers. Like, even if we went to 25, I don't think we'd even see that event. The top, the viewerships, well, that's the thing, 25 million viewerships just this year alone. So yeah, that's my only concern. As I say, the viewership is going to be better for, as I say, mostly Dynamites and Rampages, although the last 4 events did bring fantastic viewership. So I might just do the big 4 as pay-per-view buy rates, just to, obviously we've done 7 on pay-per-view this year, and you can see there 0.01 when we get rid of the fight, and then when we created that network 7.89. so the 4 big ones will be on that, like Full Gear, Revolution, maybe Forbidden Door as well, just to kind of make that look a bit more realistic rather than just still having 0.01s, even though we all know pay-per-view models pretty much dying in real life. That's how we've got like 720 million as well. Sorry, I probably should have pointed that out, how we conveniently spent 280 million on media, and why we're 182 million in the red. So that's the plans. I say winter is coming, is the 3rd week, and it's a Saturday, and the 1st week will be Crown and Glory after we do Final Resolution. So thanks very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it today. Please remember to check out the Grey Dog Software forums and the Fantasy Booker subreddits for some other people's content, whether it be written or verbal, or if you just like to have a chat about the old TW, because sometimes it can be the motivation you need to book something in your save. But I'm going to go and get some fluid tablets, and I'll see you all real soon. Bye bye.